Hey guys, welcome back or welcome to my channel. I recently posted a video on Saturday, but I was talking about in my video, like, kind of about me being an empath, or I don't know if I actually said that, but yeah, I'm gonna be talking a bit about that today, while doing my makeup. So, let's start talking. Well, first I'm actually gonna prime my face. So, well, actually, let me get some makeup wipes just in case we mess up along the way. There's makeup wipes for life. I mean, I guess for me that's my Bible. So, you know. Alright. Well, Yvonne, how do you know that you are an empath? And what is even the definition of an empath? Well, I'm gonna take my ring off for a second. Nope, okay, it won't let me take it off. Oh. I'm just gonna prime my face, basically. Being an empath is meaning, like, when you say you're empathetic towards a person, you literally know what they're feeling, and you literally know what they're going through. Like, you know their emotions, you know their feelings, you know everything that they're going through. And being an empath obviously is that. I don't know if you guys have seen The Haunting of Hill House. Highly recommend that. It's a very good show, and it's basically one of the characters, I'm not trying to spoil anything, but basically one of the characters is empathic. All of the kids were touched with the gift in some sort of way. So one of the characters, she can feel people's feelings and thoughts and what they're going through literally in their lives. And so she wears gloves. She works with kids. I think she's like a social worker or something. But she wears gloves so that way she won't be able to feel what everyone's feeling, because from my experience, it's very overwhelming. I have a lot of back problems as it is. I have scoliosis, even though my dad thinks I don't. So there's one of my back problems, but in studies it shows, like, when you're getting a massage or you're going to the chiropractor or whatever, you're more likely to put stress in your back and, like, on your shoulders, which makes sense because it's a heavy load feeling other people's emotions. And you may be wondering, how did I know I was empathic? My mom is empathic as well. We get it from my grandpa's side, and I guess one of my aunts, I don't know, we went to Mexico one year for my grandparents' wedding anniversary. They were renewing their wedding vows, and my dad and my uncle, I think it was, went to one of my aunt's house. It was with my grandpa too. I'm pretty sure he was there, obviously. I mean, when they went to go visit the house. But she was giving, like, this house tour, and there was, like, one specific room that they weren't allowed to go in. Like, she basically said she didn't have the key for that room when she literally had all of these keys. So basically, pretty sure they were evil. They did a lot of bad juju, a lot of bad, probably like the Ouija board, a lot of seances, probably. It's not good. So we get that from my grandpa's side, my mom's dad. We get that from him. My mascara was fun. So yeah, all three of my siblings are gifted. We are gifted in very different ways. My older sister and I are the most similar when it comes to our gifts. Let me just start from the beginning. basically, the first time I ever felt I was empathic, I pretty much knew that I was, like, different. I know every kid says that, but this was a different kind of different. Like, I knew certain things about certain people. I tried my best to never judge others because I knew semi what they were going through, so I basically let myself get bullied because it wasn't my fault that, it wasn't me that was making them bully me. It was like something that they were going through in their lives that was making them angry. So like I couldn't judge them for that. So at a very young age, I was just very timid and very sensitive. Like my siblings would mess with me and I would become very agitated, as every sibling does. But even more, I would just be very calm and like ask them as many times to just stop messing with me until finally I like bursted and I would get in trouble. And I would just, like, if my parents would talk to me like sternly, I would just cry because I was just very overwhelmed with emotion and I didn't know how to handle it. Like now I'm very, like I can take serious conversations like with my husband and I, like we talk and I don't cry basically. But when I was younger, I couldn't take those intense conversations because I was already feeling so much that I felt like it was my fault. Like if I got in trouble, like obviously I did something wrong to get in trouble, but when they were talking to me, it felt like it was the end of the world basically. But yeah, I always knew that I was very different. And I'm actually writing a book, I guess, about my experiences, and not a lot of people believe in that stuff, like God and spirits and angels and demons and everything, but I do. And I don't know what religion you're in, whether you're Buddhist or you're Catholic or Christian or Mormon or you're Jewish or whatever religion you're in, we're basically all the same. We all praise one big, amazing entity or God, and I just think that's amazing. So we always grew up very Christian. My parents actually converted to Christianity from Catholicism, which my grandparents were. So very Catholic, very, very Catholic. So they converted and we moved here when I was 7 to Washington when I was 7 years old. So I've always never really had secure friends. Like I've always felt very out of the group, but I fit into every group, if that makes sense. Like I just have one of those personalities that's very like flexible. Sorry, I'm just trying to get very sure. But yeah, so I remember 8th grade, I'm not gonna say names, but this boy was bullying me, basically calling me a slut and other not nice names, and just creating rumors. So I was in gymnastics, which didn't really help my case. Like I know it wasn't my fault, but it didn't really help because I wore a leotard and spandex. I'm in 8th grade. I had to have been like, what, you're in 8th grade when you're like 12, 13, and then you're high school 13, 14. Pretty sure. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I can't keep track. And so he caught me at the end of practice, just standing, waiting for my papa to come pick me up. And mind you, let me give you a backstory on my father. He was in the army. He was like basically my size, very tiny, but he was very, like, tall. And then he went into the army, and he came out super buff and macho. So, yeah. And he's Mexican. So, not, like, yes, he's Mexican, but, like, he's from El Paso. That's just a different type. He's very buff and very scary, very intense. So basically, he just had gotten her, like, a big tattoo, and he worked out a lot. So he's very buff, and he wore a wife beater, like those tank tops, and shorts, and, you know, it's not a good first impression to all my friends. But let me get back to the story. So basically, my dad, he starts picking on me, and then he leaves, and I'm, like, bawling, and all of, like, my friends are trying to comfort me or whatever. And then my dad picks me up, and I do my best to hide my tears. And then I'm like, going good, we're almost outside of the school, and that's when I'm gonna start crying and bawling, and I couldn't do it. I just started crying, and we were almost past the school. I was like, dang it, I was so close. I could have avoided this confrontation, and everything would have been fine, and yada yada. And then he saw me, thought I was crying, and he was like, why are you crying? And I was like, it's nothing. And then I just, like, wipe away my tears, and I'm like, it's nothing, like, just forget it, like, don't ask questions. And he was like, if you don't tell me why you're crying, you're grounded. Of course, he would threaten me like that, basically threaten my freedom. And I told him what was happening. I told him that I was getting bullied by this boy at school, and that he was spreading rumors about me and calling me names, which is so messed up, because kids are so mean. Oh my gosh, I don't understand. Like, if you're being bullied at school, talk to someone. Like, seriously, talk to someone. If your parents are supportive, talk to them. Like, don't be afraid for your mom or dad to walk up to the school super pissed and macho, because that's what's gonna save you. Like, honestly. I'll get to that in a minute, but yeah, so he full 180 or 360 or whatever degree turns around super fast. I literally heard the tires, like, go skirt, and he turns around, and he's like, no one's gonna make you cry except me. Like, the only man in your life who's gonna make you cry is your dad. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. I was like, fine. So he turns around, and he's so embarrassing. Oh my gosh, it was so embarrassing, because everyone had just gotten out of gymnastics. I'm like, seriously, Dad, you couldn't have waited till the next day? And so he gets out of the car. Again, he's in his t-shirt with his huge tattoo, and he's super buff and super tall, and it's like, it's 8 o'clock when it ends, and it's fall, so it gets dark really fast here in Washington. So it was like pitch black basically, and he how do you say it, like, camouflage with the darkness. So, like, all you saw was this big macho man, or this big macho figure walking in the dark with a tiny little scrawny girl. So yeah, he was like, where is he? In, like, his Batman voice, like, where is he? And I'm like, he's not here, like, he probably already left. And he's like, are the doors still open? And I'm like, yeah. And so we walk in, like how I make my voice super tiny and, like, helpless, because that's what I was. I was helpless. So anyways, yeah, we walk into the school, and oh my gosh, I'm praying to the Lord. I'm like, God, please do not let him be here anymore, because this boy is gonna die. He's gonna not be on this earth anymore. And God, you need to help him. And the Lord heard me, but he didn't answer my prayer exactly as I wanted it. He did it in his own way. He was right down the hall. Like, my dad, we were, like, walking through the door, and then there's, like, a hallway, but there's, like, vending machines, and then there's the gym, and then there's, like, another long hallway to go to, like, all the classrooms and stuff, and to go to the music room. So he was literally like, we turned and he was like right down the hallway. So what does my dad do? He walks up to this tiny little scrawny boy, and then God bless the Lord, because the security guard was there, and I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much, because I thought this boy was gonna die. I thought he was gonna die. I was like, oh my gosh, my dad's gonna go to jail, and he's like, we're never gonna see him again because he's gonna kill his boy. And yeah, that's father love for you. Like, I hope every girl has that type of dad. Like, oh, it was intense. So basically, he sees this boy, and I felt something that I've never felt before in my entire life. I felt like my whole body shield, like, what we call it is like we shield ourselves with prayer, and like, I didn't know I had this gift, okay? So I didn't know I had this shield shielding me from very intense energies. Thought I was safe. I thought I was gonna be a normal kid, but nope. The shield broke, basically, and I felt everything my dad was feeling. And it was all that energy, and it was all that anger, and I just felt this massive wave of like anger and frustration and sadness, and like, he was just being a dad, basically, as dads do. And I just went like this. I just went, oh my gosh. Like, I just felt like this shiver of energy in my body. Like, I could literally feel it in my bones, the energy, like the anger. I felt everything he was feeling, and I was just so overwhelmed, and I just started crying. Like, mind you, I didn't know what this was. I didn't know what I was feeling. I was just overwhelmed, and I just started crying because I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna die, and I don't know what I'm feeling. I thought it was just me, and that was my energy. And so my dad, the security guard, like, pops up, and he's like, hey, what's going on? What's happening? And so then my dad then explains very angrily, and he's like, this kid has been bullying my daughter. And the kid starts crying, and because what would you do? Like, you're a little 8th grader, and you see this big macho guy coming up to you, and you're like, oh shoot, that's probably her dad. And you know, didn't think she had a very intense family, but I do. So, you know. Sorry, I have to get my highlighter and concealer, or not concealer, whatever this is called, contour. Anyways, so yeah, basically, my dad went up to this kid, and the security guard came out, God bless, and the guy was like, what's going on? My dad then explained that he was bullying me and that he was calling me names, and then the kid proceeds to cry, and he's like, I wasn't even calling you names, like, why are you lying? And I was like, boy, yes you did, like, not even like 20 minutes ago you were just calling me bad names. And so then he was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry, yada yada. And so the kid then leaves, and I blacked out, to be honest. All of that energy, like, I don't remember what happened after that. And then I just remember that I was home, and I don't even remember the conversation my mom and I had about our gift. I would just, yeah, I don't even remember. All I remember saying to her, like, oh yeah, I felt like this huge wave of like anger and frustration and like sadness. And my mom was like, oh yeah, like, you basically, you're woke, like, you woke up. And I was like, what do you mean I woke up? And she was like, yeah, like, we all have this gift. Not all of your siblings are awake, and they don't know their gift yet. So I was in 8th grade, so that was pretty young for me to like realize that I was different, and to like just have not a full grasp of it, because I had no idea what I was doing. So my mom basically then proceeded to tell me that we get it from my grandpa's side, and I was very curious as to know why we were chosen, and she then proceeded to tell me that God chose us. Yes, I'm gonna get biblical. This is a very not a very, but this is going to be a spiritual channel. Like, I'm going to be expressing things to you about my experiences with this gift, what I've seen, what I've felt, you know. So, either get woke or get woke, because this stuff is very real to me. But yeah, so then freshman year came, and it was just a very hard time. Like, I had a fine-ish childhood. Like, I wasn't beat, I wasn't like hurt physically or anything like that, but my dad was a very angry person. Like that, and that's sadly where I get my anger from. Like, it's intense. Like, you do not want me to get mad at you, because I will throw all the fury into your mind. Basically, my dad was a very angry person. He didn't know how to control it. He had a very intense childhood, so he never like abused my mom or like hit her or anything, and I don't even think he verbally abused her, but they would argue a lot. And it wasn't until I got older that I told them, like, yeah, I remember this fight, I remember that this happened, and they were like, what? Like, you were so little. I was like, I wasn't that little. Like, I had to have been like 8 or 9 when they started like fighting about stuff. And I mean, I know that every parent, or all parents go through their trials and errors and stuff, so I don't blame them. It's just, I was the youngest, I saw everything, and that sucks. But yeah, so it was very intense. I had a very intense childhood. My siblings did not give me the best of anything, basically. They got to make their mistakes, they got to screw around, they got to get in trouble, and I did not. I wasn't sheltered, I was just sheltered, because they were scared that I was going to make the same mistakes, which some of them I did, because I was just kind of done with the whole situation. I was just done trying to be perfect and become this child of gold, basically. So freshman year comes around, I'm still new to this whole gift thing. I have no idea what I'm doing. And then during my middle school years, my older sister was going through a really bad relationship, to the point of where she was being abused physically. Her husband was abusing her, and I got really close to him. He was basically like my uncle. They would take me everywhere. I was like their child, basically. I got really close to him, and then he did that. And my family is either we like you or we don't like you at all. Like, we will not talk to you anymore. We will not be associated with you. Like, we just want nothing to do with you, basically. And so he felt that, and I wanted nothing to do with him. So I felt very lost, very hurt, and very like depressed. Basically, I felt like I was betrayed. Like, how could you do this to me? How could you do this to my sister? Like, you're a monster, basically. And he was. I believe that people can change, and he has, like, recently, but I didn't believe that then. It was very hard for me to trust again, trust men in particular. I became very distant with my dad, I became very distant with my brother, I became very distant with basically all boys. So I just pushed people away, which is not healthy. I do not recommend that. It is not the best option to do. You have other options, like therapy, which I went to. I will get more into that. But yeah, I was just not a good time for me going into freshman year. So I saw it as I'm gonna use boys before they can use me. I'm gonna flirt with boys before they can flirt with me. I'm gonna push them away after that before they can push me away, basically, is what I told myself. I'm not gonna entrust my heart with anyone. It's just gonna be purely sex, which it just was. I didn't believe in love after that for a while, and it was very bad for my relationship with my parents. I became depressed, and they didn't know about it. I just was playing it off. I was just in a very bad state of mind. So then sophomore year came around, which was very difficult because all of my siblings left, like, the state. And that was so hard for my mom and I. And obviously my dad too, because he has feelings. But it was just hard for the three of us. And if things couldn't get any worse, my mom got sick. Not like cancer sick, but with fibromyalgia. So it's chronic, it's forever. She'll have it for the rest of her life. I'm not liking how this eyebrow's coming out. But yeah, she will have it for the rest of her life, and she'll always be in some sort of pain, which sucks because I wish I could just take that away from her. And I would. Actually, we're gonna get into that, but yeah, so basically everyone left. It was just me and my dad and my mom together. And then she got sick. I got baptized like the beginning of my sophomore year, and that took a turn for trust, like to trust in God that he knew what he was doing. But that was so hard for me and so hard for my faith. And it really put God's, like, he knew what he was doing, basically put God's judgment into full throttle. So yeah, she got diagnosed with fibromyalgia. First she got diagnosed with a herniated disc, and then with that she got diagnosed with fibro. We didn't know exactly what it was. Like, we were kind of all a little bit in denial. Her the most. She fell into like this really bad depression. Like, why me? Why does it never stop? And so did I. And I'm pretty sure my dad did as well. Like, we were just a hot mess. I started cutting. I started drinking, basically. I started smoking. And not cigarettes, but weed, which is not, I don't recommend it unless you're over the age of 21, which I'm not, but I'm just not gonna say anything. So yeah, basically I don't condone that. So if you're not 21, but anyways, yeah, so she got diagnosed with all of that all at once, and it was just a big, like, we just all got hit with all of that news. And then I went to therapy. My mom basically got to a point to where she was tired of me being depressed, and she put me in therapy. Or I put myself in therapy as well, but it didn't really help. I couldn't stand school. I was being bullied constantly, and I just didn't want to be alive anymore. I remember one time I was home alone, and I just decided not to be alive anymore. I just didn't want to feel anything. I didn't want to fight anymore, basically. And so I went into my mom's pill or medicine cabinet and I grabbed one. I didn't even see what it was. I just grabbed one and I went to my bathroom and I just stood there for like 30 minutes looking in the mirror, just like trying to talk myself. Someone was trying to talk myself out of it, and it was 100% God or Jesus. It was one of them, 100% talking to me. And the exact words were just like, just one more day. Like, just that voice in your head is just like, just one more day. Just like, you can push through one more day. Like, just try your best to just push through one more day. And I heard that every single day because I just didn't want to be alive anymore. I just didn't want to be on this earth. And my mom came home as soon as I was about to open the pill bottle. She came home and I ran to her room and put them back, and I acted like nothing ever happened. Like, I didn't tell her until a couple years ago. And then that was that. So then junior year, her sickness got worse. And mind you, I was not working my sophomore year. I was barely a sophomore. Well, I know you can work at the age of like 15 and a half, but still, I wasn't worried about that yet. But yeah, I was still trying to get my permit, or yeah, I was getting my permit, or I had my permit. So I was basically my mom's chauffeur. I was her doctor. I was like her nurse. I was her right hand at everything. And my dad and I got close with that as well. So we got super close with it just being basically the two of us taking care of my mom, or basically just being me while my dad was at work. So during whole summer vacation of like the end of sophomore year, beginning of junior year, I was just taking care of my mom. Like, I know I had a choice to like let her worry about herself. That's my mom. Like, I basically didn't have a choice because she would pass out all the time. She would black out. She didn't have control of her emotions or of anything. Like, she was just always full panic attack mode, and she was just like, I didn't know what we were gonna get. And that was really hard. And so I remember multiple times actually that when I would massage her and I would be like going to school and she was still like groggy and like super tired, and she knows this, but I would basically pray over her and take her pain, which is not good. Like, if you're empathic, I don't do that, because that is not your fight. It is not you're basically stealing someone else's trial. Like, that is not your fight. Like, I learned that from experience. Yeah, I would just take away her pain, and all day I would just be throwing up, or I would be in so much pain that I would cry, and I didn't tell anybody that I was taking it until I would come home and my mom would be like, you took my energy, like, you took my pain. And I was like, yeah. She'd be like, don't do that, like, ever again. And I mean, I would still try to do it, but she would block me, and so I couldn't. But basically, junior year was hard because I wanted my own life. I wanted to hang out with my friends. I was being completely secluded. I was being overprotected. Like, they didn't want me to make the same mistakes as my siblings did. So I had to quit my job. I was working at McDonald's, but I had to quit because I had to keep calling out, which is me, not my parents. It's all me. Because I would have to take care of my mom. So I couldn't go to work. So I had to basically stay with my mom all the time. And that was that. And then I got my license, I think it was junior year. I think so, yeah. Junior year. And I got this like waiver at school to where I could check myself out early. And because I had to, because of my mom. I had to constantly take her to doctor's appointments and stuff, but I abused that. Like, I abused that waiver. I would always clock myself out. so bad. And then, yeah, so basically, my mom and I were always on edge with each other my junior year because I was tired of taking care of her. I didn't hate her, I hated her illness, and I hated that she was sick, so I was just angry all the time. And then senior year was the worst because that's when her illness again went full throttle. Like, we thought we were getting through it, and yeah, none of my siblings were helping me. They just abandoned ship. Like, I mean, I get that they're adults, but they didn't even check on me. They didn't call me. They didn't text me to see how I was doing, so I was pissed at them. I was very angry. And with all of that anger, I became very dark. I just turned off my emotions. I don't recommend doing that. I don't recommend doing a lot of things, but yet here we are. Yeah, so, like, what do you mean turning off your emotions? Like, I mean, I full on closed my eyes, I closed my soul from everything, and it's just like a wave of darkness came over me, and I just hated my life. I was out with boys like every week. I was basically just doing things I shouldn't have been doing. I remember getting caught being high the very first time, and that was dark because I was just so done that I just disobeyed my parents, and I was just like, screw you guys, I'm gonna go get high or whatever, and I don't care. Like, I just didn't care about my life anymore because I felt like I had no life. And so that's what got me angry about the kids at my school that like bullied me or like made me feel like I was stupid because they didn't know what was going on. And if they end up watching this video or whatever, I don't know, they're gonna understand that I was going through a lot more than what I portrayed. Like, I portrayed that I had no worries, that I had no doubts, that I didn't care. But I definitely did, a little too much. But yeah, that's what I was going through all those years of high school. Like, it was hell because I had to take care of my mom. I had to see her in constant pain. People were in and out of my life constantly, so I didn't trust. I put up walls. And then the best thing happened. She got stem cell therapy, which was awesome. But yeah, me basically being empathic is just crazy because it's like I feel some days so honored, and some days I'm just like, why? Like, this is so draining. My back hurts. Like, I can't do this. But it's my choice to hold on to those things. But sometimes it's hard. Sometimes, like, I'll have a shield over myself and I'll pray, and it's just, some people's energy is just so intense, and I just don't know how to let it go because it's literally leeching onto me for a host. Like, it needs something. But it was very hard to overcome all of that darkness for sure. But yeah, I felt a lot of things in my life, and it's crazy because my parents and I have been so in tune, especially my mom and I, that I just know when she's not okay, even through text, like texting. Like, you don't know what someone's thinking through text, but with my mom, I know. Like, with anyone I talk to, I know. And it's funny because she'll be like, stop feeling me. And I'm like, I can't. Like, I try, but I can't because we're so in tune. Like, it's hard not to because I've lived in constant fear that you're not okay. So, yeah, my dad and I have some PTSD, especially me, because it's like, it's difficult to see someone that you love become so sick and literally become bedridden. So it's just definitely very hard to not want to, like, take their pain away. And when you have the choice to take their pain away, like, you're going to. Like, I did. I was forbidden. But, yeah, and then I remember also, like, with my gift, I remember, sorry that I'm rambling. I rambled in my last video too, but there's just so much I want to say. But in, I think, when was it, like my sophomore or junior year, I got grounded from Harry Potter. Funny story, not funny story, but I was so like interested in our gift and where we got it from that I got like deep down into the dark hole to where I was like, I want to be dark and I want to be like all these things. I want to cast spells. I want to do things that I should not be doing. And I basically got grounded from anything witchcraft, anything Harry Potter. I couldn't like basically read any like witchcraft books or anything like that. I was banned from Supernatural. Yeah, I couldn't watch anything like that for like a whole year. They took all of my things away from like Harry Potter and I was so sad, so upset. And then this new Harry Potter game came out. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Like, it's awesome. You should play it. You should definitely download it. But yeah, so basically I was grounded from that because I was too interested in my history of this gift. But yeah, this gift has definitely brought on a lot of things that I don't understand, a lot of pain that I don't understand, but I know that if I can't understand it, that it's not mine. That's how I know that it's not mine. Like if I know that I'm feeling like icky or iffy, like I feel off, like I know that something is trying to get to me, or something like someone else's energy is trying to get to me, or like I'm just trying to get rid of something. So that's how I know that it's not mine. Now, like before, I would have never guessed that it wasn't mine and to begin with. But now, like, I have a set of rules. Like, to the people that I love, like family, I'll pick up on like my sisters, my brother, my mom, my dad. Those 5 people I will always pick up on. And significant others I will pick up on, but those are the only like main 5 people that I will ever intrude their space because they're my family and I need to know. But when it comes to my husband, when it comes to his mom, when it comes to his dad, I will not. That's just invasive. I will not intrude into his thoughts. I will not intrude into his thing. I won't intrude into his energy. Because it's just, when you're married or when you're dating an empath or someone that can feel your energy, you need those rules, you need those boundaries. And I told him when we got together, I think it was like the 6th or 7th month that we were together, but I told him that I was empathic, and that was a very big deal for me because I don't tell a lot of people. There's probably only like, besides my family, only like 4 people that know about my gift, and that's it, really. And now 5, including my husband, like people that don't really believe in stuff like that, but believe in me at the same time. But yeah, so I told him in our relationship, I was like, hey, I feel things, I am gifted. And he had this cute little joke where he would like try to find my third eye. He was like, oh, is it right here? I'm like, no, it's in here. And he was like, oh, right here? And I'm like, yeah, it's inside me. He's like, I'm gonna grab it. So it was super cute when I first told him. But now he just like, whenever I'm in a bad mood, he's like, you need to go read your Bible, or you need to go meditate. And I'm like, like, leave me alone. Let me be. Like, you're not supposed to be telling me what to do. He's like, hey, like, you need to go read your Bible. I'm like, okay, I'll go read my Bible. Which is good, because I should be reading my Bible. He's like, you need to go pray, or you need to go meditate. I'm like, okay, fine. So, which is really good, because he's noticed my traits, and if I don't read my Bible, or if I don't meditate, or if I don't pray, like, I become very angry and gross, and he doesn't want to be around me. So, that's good. He knows that. But all in all, I don't mess with his stuff. Like, I don't mess with his energy. I don't mess with his thoughts or anything like that. At one point, I did with my dad because it was really funny. He was super mad, and I was just like, I didn't know that they were his thoughts, but at the same time I did. And my mom was just laughing, like she was just like, stop, like he's gonna get even more mad. It's just funny because in things like that, we're just like, my mom and I are just so bad, like we'll just like look at each other and we'll just like start laughing because we'll like be thinking the same thing. And it's hilarious. But anyways, I just wanted to explain to you guys what I meant in my last video. Probably you don't care, but I just wanted to explain what I meant by being empathic, and I wanted to explain my point of view of that gift. And also I got a haircut for my last video. You know, I'm really loving it. It's really nice. But yeah, basically let me know if you guys have any other questions, if you want to know like literally what I've seen and what I've felt of other people. Make sure you give this video a like, and make sure to subscribe if you're not, and make sure you ring or you push that little notification bell. And I don't know when I'm gonna post next because I'm starting a new job soon, so I don't know. We shall see. But yeah, again, I shall see you empathians and non-empathians later. But yeah, make sure to just like this video, okay? Just come back, all right? But yeah, okay. I'll see you guys later. Bye!